Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Art of Awakening. My name is Ona Christie, and in this video, I'm going to share some of the insights that I've been given around the upcoming equinox. This is the March equinox of 2021, and it feels like there's some big energies happening here, and I'm also going to do a little bit of a reading around these energies to help support us through this transitional time. So stay tuned. If you haven't liked and subscribed, go ahead and do that now. And let's get started. So first of all, I just want to share some of the downloads that I've been getting around this. And what I'm really seeing is that this is a time of, well, we know that the equinox is this balance, right? A balance point in the year. And that's really what's coming forward is that there's opposing energies. We all know this on the planet right now, a lot of opposing energies, and it's all just sort of like there's a lot of tension there. And sometimes balance can be this really sweet thing, but sometimes it can be actually an opposition. And so that's what I'm getting, is that this is opposition specifically between forces of illusion and forces of truth, okay, whatever that means to you. And this is something that I'm feeling is happening for humanity as a whole, as well as within probably each of us as an individual to varying extents, and maybe in varying parts of your life. Okay, so the encouragement is to just first of all, be aware of this, that this is a time where these opposing energies, maybe just sort of, it feels like there's been a little bit of a stalemate, like they're each sort of wanting to kind of get the upper hand. And sometimes that ends up in a sort of like a lock kind of position. And that's what I'm seeing right now, is this sort of locked position between the forces of truth, the forces of illusion. And what the message that I'm getting loud and clear is whichever one, because this is like a very kind of a critical time, and they're really telling me humanity is at a crossroads. Okay, and they're telling me that in this time, it's like whichever side reacts in kind of either anger or just has this kind of emotional reaction is going to be the loser, right? So it's like whoever can keep their cool is going to get the upper hand. And this may, I don't know, I'm not following politics right now, so I don't know, this isn't like a political thing, but it's like kind of wherever that is going to show up. It may show up in many different places. So the encouragement here is that if you may feel like you're on the verge of something, or that you've kind of been working on breaking through kind of personal truths. I know personally I've had the opportunity to kind of look at a lot of different aspects of myself through various chart readings and all this stuff, and trying to figure out what's going on, what's going to go into the new cycle, because we're kind of ending up wrapping up a new cycle, moving into another one. As we know, like the spring equinox often is going to be when we start moving into the real energies of the year, right? So we're still almost wrapping up the 2020 energies right now, going to be moving into a big new cycle. And so part of what this energy is right now is like, what is this new cycle going to look like? How is it going to be kicked off? Is it going to be kicked off in kind of reaction, passion kind of stuff? Or is it going to be kicked off in a way that's grounded and ready to move forward into positive actions? So one of the things they're saying is that fighting is useless, okay? And at least fighting of the conventional kind. So if you do feel like you've been kind of maybe working through energies and seeing same patterns going over and over, and there can be this tendency to kind of fight the energies that have been happening. And what they're saying is, like, if you can get out of the fighting kind of energy and just move into a more grounded, they're saying the best weapons, quote unquote, are humor, one, self-sufficiency, and refusing to fall prey to false beliefs. So this is really being aware of what's true for you, right? And a refusal to being provoked into action. So this is really a call to stay calm, stay rational, be aware of the emotions, but don't allow yourself to get caught up into it. Keep a sense of humor. They say that actions need to be slow and deliberate with a focus on the long term. Okay, so whatever we're moving into here in this second quarter of 2021, this is going to set the stage for potentially for decades, right? Down the line, maybe even centuries. Okay, so this is a super important thing. And they're saying this is not a time for quick action. Okay, this is more of a deliberation kind of thing. This is not a time for quick action, not a time for knee-jerk reactions or fast opportunity, right? They say stillness, meditation, and visualizing a healed future all support a positive outcome. So this might be a really, really good time as we move into this equinox energy to go within a little bit. Maybe a really good time for planning or for kind of taking a look back at maybe even a life review or a review of the past year or a few years. See where things feel solid, see where things are really clear for you, and see where maybe there's still a little bit more confusion, where you can find, where do you need clarity, and start really sinking into, how can I find clarity? Sometimes we can find it simply by going within, asking our guides, connecting to our higher self. Sometimes it really helps to get some outside guidance. Like I just talked to somebody in a marketing person that's maybe going to help me with some of that. And even though I have a big background in marketing, I got this epiphany at a retreat last weekend that, what? I need to focus on, what I'm really best at. And even though I'm good at marketing, maybe let somebody else do some of that strategy, right? So you may have some epiphanies, or where are you best at? Where do you need to focus? Where can you, maybe figure letting somebody else do it, and it might look different for you, but this is a good time to go slow, do that introspection, take the time to plan and figure things out. All right, so if you're ready, let's go into the reading part of this video. I am using 3 decks here. One is my Spirit Animal Awareness deck. Another is the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms deck by Colette Baron Reed. I really, really love this deck. And the third is the Ascension Angel cards from Melanie Beckler. And while I go ahead and shuffle the first deck here, if you are looking at feeling prompted, feeling that inner guidance to look for a little clarity for just from an outside source, which can be very illuminating. Just want to let you know I have a new type of session that I'm offering. It is a 30-minute reading. That's a recorded reading. I do a video for you, and very similar to this, I'll use the cards and give you clarity on whatever it is that you would like, feel like you need a little bit of clarity on. So I'll leave the link to that below if it's something that's guiding, drawing you. You feel guided, go for it. Okay, so this is coming up as a challenger. It is the Wise Woman of Wonderland, integrity and compromise. Okay, and these are the energies that we're really kind of talking about, right? The integrity, what has, what's true for you. Where have you maybe been compromising your truth, right? And figuring out kind of what is truth. Like she's sitting on this mushroom, right? And mushrooms could be like the mushroom magic or whatever. If you're into that, that's great. But also kind of think in terms of like the hallucinations that can happen, that can kind of drag you into this hall of mirrors kind of feel, right? And this isn't a comment on using medicine at all, but it's just sort of that idea of this, we all have this kind of the whole 3D reality, it's like a hall of mirrors, right? And it's all this illusion. Right now we're in this period of time where things are wonky, things are weird. Honestly, right now we're in this kind of wonderland feel in everything that's going on right now. Whole 2020 was that craziness. And so this is sort of a call to just, you know, let's start feeling into what's actually true. So she's saying when the wise woman of Wonderland appears as a challenger, it's a sign that you may have compromised yourself out of fear. If you've been in denial about the truth, okay, where have you allowed fear to prompt your decisions? Right? And I can completely see that over the past few years. It's like several places where I've sort of acted out of fear, and even though, you know, it seemed to be the good idea at the time, it was the idea that sort of made sense. I could see where it pulled me out of my truth, right? Have you sold yourself short rather than asking for what you really need? Have you given up your dream for another because you fear abandonment? Okay, so this is a really great time to really come face to face with our fears. And that is really best done in a time that you can set aside for introspection, and where you can kind of maybe draw your own safe space around you and just really look in that mirror, right? The wise woman of Wonderland is gently reminding you that you do count. Claim your good. Never settle for less. Be fearless and make it so. Why hang around for more disappointment when wonderful adventures and opportunities are waiting to unfold for you? And I just want to say that in terms of, you know, kind of what's going on Mother Earth and all this stuff going down, that you are here. You incarnated at this time for a purpose. You're not here by accident, and you have amazing gifts to bring to the world. And this is this time of, you know, of this tipping point. And even if you can give some energy into those gifts, just a little tiny bit, it can make a huge difference. I remember one time when my son was 3 years old, and my husband at the time, we were trying to move this big piece of furniture, and he just couldn't get it, right? And it just needed a little bit. And he called my son Isaac, this little 3-year-old, come toddling over, and, you know, made sure it was safe. But he's like, Isaac, can you help me push right there? And little 3-year-old Isaac pushed right there, and it was just the extra amount of energy needed to shift this whole thing into place. And it was like, that is so the truth. It's like, even if you don't feel like you are a powerful being, you really are. And it may be just that your little touch that's needed that will help pop something into place that helps to support everything, or to make that shift that needs to be made. Okay, so I'm going to pull a couple of animal cards with energies that may be supportive and energies that may be challenging, of, you know, finding that truth and really taking steps to step into your truth around this equinox time. And so let's see what animals want to come up first. I'm going to get the supporting animal energy. This is cougar. All right, so cougar is a very, I think of it as, I don't know why I think of it as such an intellectual thing, but I think of it as this almost strategist kind of animal, almost like a leadership, but almost leader, kind of the, sometimes a leader has to walk his own path, right? You have to be really aware of what's in the best interest. You know, a CEO has to take information from all the different parts of the company, or maybe it's a king, right? Sort of the king energy is you can have to be aware of all the parts of the kingdom, of all the different agendas that are going on, and you have to be aware of, you know, how do they all contribute to the whole, and you've got to make the best decisions for the kingdom, right? Which is, it could be yourself, and that is going to be, you know, how you have to stick to, even though it may have to compromise some, you know, there may have to be compromises being made, but ultimately you have to choose the path that's not going to compromise the good of the self, where each of us is a king or a queen of our own life. All right. So really being aware of that kind of leadership, that stepping into that energy that might be challenging in this whole process here, is dragonfly. And often dragonfly can be a super amazing transformational animal. I think that came up earlier this month, but it can also be like kind of, I don't know, one of the keywords that's coming up on here is defensive and secretive, and sexual aggression. So I'm getting that sort of, that kind of knee-jerk passion reaction, right? To where you may want to kind of maybe still the fires a little bit, right? Okay, so also talking about like dragonfly or whatever can be amazing energy for moving forward and getting things done, but like maybe put a little chill on the fire energy here, and let's just kind of be real rational at this time. Also intuitive, right? Use your intuition, but watch the knee-jerk emotional reactions, right? Be really aware of your emotions this month, because that's going to, the ability to take any kind of inflamed emotions, and kind of humor is an amazing way to work through those and to address those emotions in a way, because you don't want to just sit on them and push them down, because that way, if you push them down, they're going to get at you from underneath, and that can be really damaging, but they do need to be addressed. But if you can do so with humor, it can really help to defuse the situation, and in a way that can actually, sometimes that tipping point or that break in stalemate can come through humor. Getting the laughter flowing a little bit can help to just shift things in a way that does not lead to to battle. Right? And here is the angel card for this month. It's manifestation, and I love this because that's what this is really about. It's about getting clear in your vision, getting clear in your truth, so that once this Aries energy moves in, once we move through this equinox, we're going to be in Aries, which is a real kind of initiative kind of month. It's getting things going, and if you can get into that kind of energy with that clarity in place, then you are primed for manifesting your dreams. Okay. And remember that this is a time, we're not just planning for this year ahead or getting ready to move into this, but this could be a bigger cycle too, that we're moving into, not just for ourselves, but also for the world. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate all of you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and we'll catch you again soon.